eye. Has some brown and white stripes on its legs, and it is a dark reddish auburn color. That is called an okapi. Okapis look an awful lot like a zebra with those stripes on their legs, but they're actually the closest living relative to giraffes. Giraffes and okapis have very similar skull structures, and they both have prehensile tongues. Coming around here on the left-hand side, it's a pretty big watering hole. A lot of animals like to hide out over here. Let's see if we can find anybody. Looking a little bit quiet. I think I saw someone peeking over the ridge on the right-hand side. Let's pull around here and see if we can spot them. If you look over all the way in the back there, there's a reddish-colored animal with some spiral horns and some white stripes. That is called a bongo. Bongos are so good at hiding, they have the nickname the ghost of the forest. Both male and female bongos have those large spiral horns. If you look over on our left-hand side, he's blended in pretty well up there, and that is a black rhino. Black rhinos are the smallest rhino species in Africa, weighing up to 3,000 pounds. I see two more animals coming up on our left-hand side. I'll talk about that black and white bird first. That is a saddle-billed stork. Don't let the large size of the truck fool you. Those saddle-billed storks can reach up to 5 feet tall and have a wingspan of 9 feet, same as the canopy above your head. The tan animal standing over there is called a greater kudu. Greater kudus are one of the largest antelope species here on this earth. Both bongos and kudus have those white stripes on their back to help them blend in with their surroundings here in the little Ituri forest. Those white stripes help to mimic the sunlight shining through the trees. Alrighty, our next stop here is going to be Safi River. Safi River is home to a lot of animals that spend the majority of their life in the water. I already see some action over on our right-hand side. I see a Nile hippo swimming around over there. Nile hippos spend the majority of their life in the water, and they can hold their breath for up to 8 minutes. When they leave the water, they usually leave at night or in the afternoon, and they can eat around 100 pounds of vegetation in one sitting. The white birds on our right-hand side as well, those are called pink-backed pelicans. Pink-backed pelicans get their name from the pink feathers and skin underneath their wings and on their backhand side. And during mating season, that pink color will get even brighter, turning to almost a blush pink. The word hippopotamus translates to water horse. They get their name from a really cool thing that they do. So these guys, they can swim really well, but they can't float very well. So they'll sink to the bottom of a riverbed and actually walk and run across it, giving them the nickname water horse. A couple over here on our left-hand side as well, swimming around by those waterfalls. And over on our left side as well are some Nile crocodiles. Compared to the little Ituri forest or the Safi River. There's a lot more wide open spaces. That's because a lot of the animals here are migratory species, and they help to create this flat land you see all around you. Migratory species basically means they travel throughout the year to find different food and water sources, and they travel in the seasons as well. First animal I see on my right-hand side is a herd of zebra. A herd of zebra is also called a dazzle because their stripes are very dazzling to the eye. These are Hartmann's mountain zebras. Hartmann's mountain zebras are very easy to identify compared to other species of zebra as their stripes don't go all the way down their bellies. They also have very sharp and pointy hooves that help them to cross very rocky terrain, and they can even scale mountainsides. As you can see, there are a couple babies over there. Those babies have a really cool, almost superpower, I think, meaning they can imprint on their mother's unique stripe pattern and find her in herds of hundreds of zebra. On my left-hand side over here are some African painted dogs. African painted dogs are part of the canine family, just like your dog at home, but they only have 4 toes instead of 5. African painted dogs are very pack-oriented and are some of the most successful hunters in all of Africa. A lot of people think that they are related to hyenas, but they are in a completely different family. So those guys are in the canine family, and hyenas have their own family called Hyenidae, but they do look very similar. On our left-hand side over here, this dark red animal with those large horns, that is called a sable antelope. Sable antelope are known for their very distinctive large curved horns, and they're also the emblem of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. You might see these large towers on either side of me as well, and these are called termite mounds. Termite mounds are made up of spit, dirt, and dung, and they are just as strong as concrete. A lot of the animals here on the reserve like to use them as scratching posts. And coming up on my right-hand side, this is a Maasai giraffe. If you look at that giraffe's tongue, I talked about it for a second with the okapis, but they have a prehensile tongue. So what that means is they can use that tongue almost like an extra hand or an appendage to get leaves out of really hard to reach places and out of really tall trees. That tongue is also very long, very sticky, and purplish blue in color as well. I like to call the giraffes the local tree trimmers here on the reserve because, as you can see, the acacia trees all around us are trimmed to the same level, and that's because that's as high as the giraffes can reach. Coming up on our right-hand side is a group of Ankoli cattle. Ankoli cattle are known for those very large horns, and those horns can span between 6 and 8 feet. Even though those horns are very large and they look pretty heavy, they're actually relatively hollow on the inside, made up of a honeycomb-like structure that helps with thermal regulation, meaning it helps to keep them cool on these really hot days. Ankoli cattle also have the nickname Watusi cattle from the Watusi tribe that domesticated them here in Africa. Ankoli cattle, I think, are my favorite animals here on the reserve. There's another giraffe hiding up in those trees over there. And I see some more animals hiding up on our left-hand side. It's going to be a grayish-black animal called a wildebeest. Wildebeests are the second most densely populated mammal on planet Earth, just right behind us humans. And they are one of those migratory species that I mentioned earlier. So during migration periods, these guys can travel in groups of up to 1.5 million and travel between 500 and 1,000 miles. Here's some more of those Maasai giraffes earlier. I don't remember if I mentioned, but these guys can reach up to 20 feet tall and are around 6 feet tall when they're born, taller than the average human. On the right-hand side over there, that pretty large tan animal with those horns, that is called a common eland. Common elands are the largest antelope species here on the reserve. They have a flap of skin underneath their neck called a dewlap. So just like those Ankoli cattle's horns that help to keep them cool, that dewlap does the same thing. It helps with thermal regulation. We're heading a little bit deeper onto the east side of the savanna now. So let's see what we can find over this direction. Coming up on my right, you might be able to see an African elephant approaching the truck. African elephants are the largest mammal on planet Earth and in all of Africa. Pull around here so you can get a closer view of this guy over here. This is a male elephant. Males typically live on their own or in solitary, or in another group of a male or two. Looks like he's waving high with his trunk right there. Elephants will often use their ears, flap them like that to help cool them off as well. African elephants are keystone species, so what that means is that they are very important to the environment around them and they help to increase biodiversity. So a couple examples of that would be elephants are very, very large animals and they need to eat a lot of food throughout the day. They eat majority plant matter and trees and leaves and stuff like that. So whenever they eat those leaves off those trees, they'll often tear down the trees, creating brush cover for other animals to utilize as a habitat. Whenever they eat all those plants, it has to go somewhere, so they're also very good fertilizers, helping to plant native plants. Elephants also have a really cool skill of being able to find water sources underneath the ground, feeling for vibrations with their teeth and their trunks, digging up those water sources, creating watering holes for other animals to enjoy as well. So as you can see, elephants are very, very, very important to their natural habitats, and here at the Grande Wildlife Reserve, we are doing our best to protect those magnificent animals. All around us are some red clay pits. Looks like there have been some elephants here earlier today, digging their tusks in this red clay. They'll often eat it to get an extra source of vitamins and minerals in their diet, just like how we take our vitamins every morning. If you look all the way in the back on the left-hand side, there's another elephant back there. There's quite a few coming up, and this looks to be a group of female elephants. Females live in larger groups of the females and the babies, run by one matriarchal female. She is typically the largest, smartest, wisest, and oldest elephant in their group, because she knows where all of the good food and water sources are, so she will lead the group to the best places. Elephants are scientifically proven to be some of the smartest animals on planet Earth, and they're also very emotionally intelligent creatures, meaning that they will stay with their family groups throughout almost their entire lives, and they have very strong mother and baby bonds. An elephant's trunk has more muscles in it than our entire human bodies. There are tens of thousands of muscles in that trunk alone. These have trunk to eat, drink, grab things, throw things, and my favorite, they can even use it as a snorkel. So elephants love to swim and they can fully submerge their bodies in water using their trunk, almost like a snorkel, sticking it up above the surface of the water. There's some of those elephants over on our left-hand side, as well as some greater flamingos. Greater flamingos are the lightest shade of pink of any flamingo. There's a couple babies over there as well, kind of that grayish-brown color. Greater flamingos have a diet of invertebrates such as krill and shrimp that contain a vital protein known as beta-carotene. This protein gives them their signature pink color. They develop that pink color after about 2 years of age. The group of flamingos is also called a flamboyance, which I think is pretty fun. Alrighty friends, we are coming around on this left-hand side over here. I'm not seeing any animals yet, but I also like to talk about this mud wallow on our left-hand side. A lot of animals like to roll around in that mud. More specifically, rhinos love to roll around in mud pits, giving themselves a good coating on their skin. Helps to keep them cool, and it also works as a natural bug repellent and sunscreen. Rhinos don't have a lot of hair or fur, so they can get sunburned just like me or you. Our truck in front of us spotted something. So we'll pull up here in just a second and see what we can find. Coming up on our left, I believe, are some cheetahs. As you can see, there's 3 see of them right. They're kind of hard to see all the way back in this corner. Cheetahs are the fastest land mammal on Earth and can run 60 miles an hour in under 3 seconds. They are some of Africa's only daytime hunters. And so they have a couple of really cool adaptations that help them to hunt during the day. So they have a black smudge of fur underneath their eyes that works almost like natural sunglasses. So hunting during the day, sun will often shine into their eyes, especially when it's really bright out on the savanna. And so that black mark helps to reduce that sun from glaring into their eyes. So even though cheetahs can run at those super high speeds, they don't have a lot of endurance. So they need to be as efficient as possible first time around when they go hunting. So adaptations such as that will help them to be more efficient. Cheetahs also have a really long tail. When they run at those super high speeds, it's hard to make super sharp turns. So they're a really large tail. They curve in between their back legs. And they can use it almost like a boat rudder to help make super sharp turns while they're running at those super high speeds. Looks like up ahead we might have a little bit of an animal stop, but that is a-okay. I always like to remind my friends here on the reserve that these are wild animals and we never know what we are going to see out here. And sometimes they just like to walk in front of our trucks, but we want to be as safe and cautious as possible, as we are just visiting their homes today, so they always get the right of way on the road. But even if we sit here for a couple moments, it's nice to just look at all of the views and animals as well. So hopefully we'll be on our move in just a couple minutes, and it looks like we're already moving up ahead.
Oh.
Over on our left-hand side here, this is a Kopi Rock Formation. This is the highest elevation point here on the reserve, and a lot of animals will climb up on these Kopi Rocks to get a vantage point over their prey and predators. A little bit slow through here. That means there has to be an animal up here somewhere. I see a couple coming around this corner. I don't know if you guys can see it, but all the way in the back there is one animal kind of laying down, and that is called a water buck. We'll get a little closer here in just a second where you guys can see it. Water bucks get their name from drinking excessive amounts of water throughout the day, leading to their very oily coat. They'll often jump into water sources to evade predators as well. You'll often see the water bucks climbing up on these rocks as well. I'll let this truck get a little bit farther in front of us, and then we'll pull forward in just a second. Another animal you might see on this left-hand side are some lions. Lions don't really like to be out in the super hot sun, so they're probably hiding in the shade today. And lions are also nocturnal hunters, so they're most active during the night. Coming up on our left-hand side are some warthogs and warthog burrows. As you can see, these guys have been very busy digging out these tunnel systems with their front tusks and their sharp and pointy hooves. So they are one of the only burrowing animals here in Africa. There's 3 of those warthogs over there. Also on our left-hand side are some white rhinos. White rhinos are the largest rhino species in Africa, weighing up to 6,000 pounds, almost double the size of the black rhino we saw earlier. So these guys, despite their large size, they have eyes on either side of their head, so they cannot actually see us very well. So they can get really close to these trucks and won't see us until we're about 5 to 10 feet in front of them. Also on our right-hand side are some female ostriches. Females have those gray and brown feathers. Males are slightly larger with black and white feathers. Looks like these ladies have been a little bit busy today on the right-hand side, laying a clutch of eggs as well. Ostriches are the largest bird on planet Earth, and they also lay the largest egg. Those eggs can weigh up to 3 pounds each, as much as 2 dozen chicken eggs. And the shell is so strong that if you were to stand on it, it would not break. Ostriches are flightless, but that doesn't mean they can't get around super fast. They can run up to 35 miles an hour. They have 2 toes on each foot that helps them to reach those really high speeds. Alrighty, our next stop is going to be Magadi Glen. This is the home of our warden and some very cute friends coming up on our left-hand side. If you look on our left, there are some Nigerian dwarf goats. Nigerian dwarf goats, just as they are cute, they are just as playful. You'll often see them running around, bucking and butting heads. And the reason they are here is they are very good for conservation efforts, as they are utilized for their milk production, reducing the other materials harvested from other animals. I also think the warden just keeps them here to mow his grass. Alrighty, my friends, that was our last stop for the day, so unfortunately we have come to the end of our safari, but we still have a couple more moments before we disembark, so I'm going to use these moments to tell you a little bit more about what we are doing here at the Brown Bay Wildlife Reserve. A lot of the animals you saw here today are on the endangered and threatened list, and they need advocates such as yourselves to help protect them every single day. The biggest threat to these animals is habitat loss due to mining and deforestation. You can help every day at home by remembering the 3 R's: reduce, reuse, and recycle. You've heard that before. Please should you reduce the amount of paper, plastic, and fossil fuels you're using every day. And if you are using those, it is a-okay. Make sure to reuse them. And when you're done, make sure to recycle those so they can have a second life. The animals here in Africa aren't the only ones that need your help, no matter where you guys are from. You can get involved in your local conservation efforts by maybe volunteering at a local nature or conservation center, getting involved in a river cleanup, or just maybe planting some native plants in your yard as well. Here in Africa, we believe that goodbyes are a little too sad and too final, so I'm going to leave you with one final Swahili phrase, which is Kwaherini, and Kwaherini means to go well. So I hope you all go well and go wild the rest of your day here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. If you guys have any questions for me, my windows are always open on either side, so feel free to stop by, say hi, ask me anything if you had any questions about our journey today. Alrighty, my friends, we're going to be exiting on that right-hand side, so make sure you have all of those personal belongings, and I'm going to get you on your next adventure. Side, please watch your hands, arms, feet, and legs. Those doors are going to be sliding open. Please watch your step as you exit the truck. Again, my name is Carly, and thank you so much for joining me today.